Did you know that the person who created the Pigman has a Minecraft server? You probably don't, and this is why. BaconWorld is a server created by Miclee, who's known for giving Notch the idea for the Pigman and also had the one-of-a-kind bacon cape for a while. The server had most of the ingredients for success, so how could it fail? Well, let's go back to around the end of June 2021 when the server started on a 1.17 whitelist, but then on October 2nd, BaconWorld officially released and moved to a snapshot of 1.18 with the goal of having the server become a roleplay server, possibly like the Dram SMP. Or not. During that time, the only way to join was by joining the Discord server and requesting to be whitelisted. While this approach deterred hackers and ensured dedicated players, it also was a barrier for casual players who were just looking for an easy server to join and play. Most players looking for a server to join would rather just find another server that they can join and play instantly. However, in April 2022, the system shifted, allowing players to whitelist themselves using a Discord bot, which made it a lot easier for players to jump straight in. But going back a little bit to November, which is also when Miclee last streamed on BaconWorld. At that time though, the server was still active, new and thriving, and at the end of the month the server got reset. Several months later, in April of 2022, the last world reset occurred, and during the same month Miclee logged off for the last time. This would be the start of the end of the server. During this time, the server was on 1.18.2 and it would stay this way for the rest of its lifetime. And by September, I would say the server was dead, with weeks going on at a time before a player would even join and core members of the server would stop playing. Now that we're done talking about the history of the server, I want to talk about why I think the server died, and the biggest reason was the lack of updates. The last change the server had was a year ago, and a huge reason is that the server was stuck on this old version that a lot of servers weren't on anymore. So for a lot of people, you couldn't just load up the server, you would have to change the version, which is a hassle. Along with that, players missed out on new Minecraft features like the Warden, and just like any game you might play, it gets boring when there's nothing new added after a long period of time, and it forces the server to rely on the community to keep it alive. Because why else would you play it? There are no unique functions or plugins with the server, and you have to go out of your way to play it. So the only reason to play is for other players, like if you want to go out and meet someone or play with one of your friends. And sadly, with more members leaving, that selling point falls through. So there's no reason to play the server currently, but what's the future of it? Hopefully in a few weeks the server will be back on 1.20, which alone will attract some of the old players, but I have some concerns about the long-term survival of this server. The core issue lies in the approach to maintaining the server. Miclee wants to have a small server which can be manageable, but in such a close-knit server, people can come and go. While I'm not saying it's impossible, it can be challenging to sustain an active player base in a small server. Speaking of community, a big question is if Miclee will stay involved with BaconWorld's community and working on the server in general. If he comes back to update the server, there's definitely a worry that it won't be maintained. I also think we need to talk about how you need to get new players to keep the server fresh and engaging. And while I do think new players will come to the server, will it be enough to keep the server active? Remember when I said the server had most of the ingredients for success? It doesn't feel like Miclee knew what the server was going to be. Ultimately, the community carries the server and the server died without it. And with the server being down for a few weeks to update to 1.20, I'm just not sure if it's going to work. Now, since I talked about what went wrong with the server, I thought I would show how I would personally do things. So welcome to Pork Chop World, real original name we got here, where I'll first start using my platform and social media to upload more videos of the server to advertise it. We've seen servers do this and it does work, and Miclee already does have a platform, but this is Pork Chop World, so we're not going to talk about him. This is my time to shine. Okay, but since we're gonna advertise the server more to keep the player base small but still mighty, we're keeping the whitelist where you have to link your Minecraft account with the bot, or you could limit the amount of people who join at a time and have a priority queue depending on your rank. Then it could have some parts of factions like selling, being able to claim land, and a hub. The selling and hub are for the community, and claiming land is for the anti-griefing measure. Heck, why not let players have optional teams, because it makes people want to play more when they have someone else to progress with. These are just suggestions though, and I don't want to seem like I'm coming off like I'm telling anybody what to do. Sorry if this video came off negative. A good part of that is because I wasn't there for the golden age of the server, but if you do want to see what it was like, Miclee's channel full of BaconWorld streams are in the description. I'll have a new iceberg video hopefully coming out soon as in you won't have to wait another 4 months. Like the video for 1 pork chop, subscribe for 64, and thank you all so much